what emotional need are you fulfilling? A Mac, when you open it up, the little apple appears. It's saying to the whole world, hey, I'm smarter than the rest of you, and I'm in this club of cool kids. There's a solution for almost everything. You're probably not going to come up with a new solution for something somebody hasn't already have a solution for.
You'll sell so much more to a niche than you ever will to the general public.
And you need to know what that avatar's specific dreams are. What do they dream about?
What do they fear? So a mission statement is wildly important.
I used to think those things were so stupid, and now I realize the strength in them.
What 5 questions should you go and ask yourself before you jump into your new year, new you plan?
If you don't answer these 5 questions up front, you're really left with no foundation. It's like trying to build a house without a blueprint. Hi, welcome back to the Trainwreck Show, the show that answers the crazy question, what happens when the unstoppable force of sales and marketing meets the immovable object of operations? I'm here with my lovely co-host, the Wizard of Ops, Miss Emma Rainville. Hey, Emma, what's going on?
What's up?
I'm good. Man, we're right after Christmas is over.
Well, this is
One day after.
one day after.
One day after the blizzard of Christmas. And who else was sitting at home on Christmas Day going, God, I can't wait till I can get back to work? Me, you know, we're psychos.
We were texting on Christmas Day.
We're psychopaths, right?
We were texting on Christmas Day like, don't tell our kids.
Did you get anything good for Christmas?
Actually, can I tell you?
Sure.
Every year I get gifts that everybody else wanted for themselves so they can take it.
Yeah.
Every year.
Yeah.
Every gift I got this year was something I mentioned throughout the year that I wanted.
Nice.
And didn't buy for myself.
I got a work tool.
Gabriel crushed it.
That's great.
I bought Gabe pots and pans. I don't think he was happy.
It's like a vacuum cleaner.
He was like, oh, good. We needed this for the house.
You know what Belle got me?
What?
She got me, I've really been wanting it. She got me a digital whiteboard to teach from.
Oh, I love those.
One of those. So that's going to be really cool. So I'm going to put it together later tonight. Anyway.
That was our Christmas. Hope you had a good one too.
So you set the subject matter. So I'm here to do whatever you wish. So, well, within reason. But some things, nobody would do. So what are...
Touche.
What would you like to talk about today?
I think that a really good topic to kick us off, new season, new year, is the 5 questions you should ask yourself before you start a business in 2026. And if you've already started that business,
right?
What 5 questions should you go and ask yourself at the beginning of 2026 before you jump into your new year, new you plan? Yeah,
I know you've seen me do this. We talk about it at some of the events that we do and when we do private consulting. I think this is one of the earlier lessons I learned about structure, and I've carried this. A lot of things have changed over the years.
You learned stuff about structure?
Yeah, I don't do it, but I know how it works. But no, I learned this really early on, and now, so when I've got somebody that comes to me and says, I want to start a business, I usually ask them to do this, and most of the time they don't. They just want to borrow money from me. 2, which is really, by the way, if you've got relatives, if you're successful, and you're going to have people to come to you all the time and go,
I have a really good idea. I've got this great way for you to make money.
Yeah, I got this great idea. So here, by the way, there's a dual lesson here. Tell them to go back and create you a brief that answers these 5 questions in detail.
And they'll almost always never come back.
You'll never hear from them again.
Almost always.
99 times out of 100. But it's really good for the people who are serious about starting a business. If you don't answer these 5 questions up front, you're really left with no foundation. It's like trying to build a house without a blueprint, right? And then 3rd, if I buy a business or if I invest in a business, I always bring those people into my house, and we do a thing called Breaking Point that I used to sell to people. I don't do it anymore, but I only do it with companies that I own equity in now. But they come into the house and we break the business apart and we rebuild it as if it were a brand new startup.
Mm-hmm. The 5 questions.
5 questions.
Stay on track, Papa.
Yeah. So 5 questions. Number 1, what is our mission? This seems like a crazy question to ask, but here's what you're really answering. Why do you need to exist? Why does this business need to exist? What void is it filling?
What's the purpose or cause?
What's the purpose of it? And really the part that people get off here that they get wrong, they're like, well, we're starting a tire store. We sell tires. No, you're not in the tire business. You're in the safety business. What physical need are you fulfilling? What logical need, right? But much more importantly, what emotional need are you filling? Dyson does this better than anybody. There's no reason to pay $700 for a vacuum cleaner when you buy a perfectly good one at Walmart for $89. But they figured out that a beautiful vacuum cleaner was more desirable than a $89 Mac by a factor of 8. Yeah. 8 to 10 times the price. So what emotional need are you fulfilling? A Harley Davidson represents freedom and open road and all that. It's not a motorcycle. There are much better motorcycles out there. A Mac, when you open it up and the little apple appears, it's saying to the whole world, hey, I'm smarter than the rest of you, and I'm in this club of cool kids. So you got to understand, what mission do you fill in a world where there's a solution for almost everything. You're probably not going to come up with a new solution for something somebody doesn't already have a solution for.
But you may have a unique way of filling it.
Correct.
Right? And so if you go a step further to this, we actually call our mission statement at my company, Shockwave, absolute focus.
Yeah.
What are we absolutely focused on providing?
Yeah.
And so the answer is not operations, it's freedom.
Right.
Right? And so it allows for several things. One, it allows for your team to understand what your goal is, what you're trying to accomplish, so you don't need to be involved in every micro decision.
Yeah.
It also allows your executive team, when you come up with your, as most visionaries do, your 1900th golden nugget.
She's talking about brilliance now, just to clarify that.
Sure. We'll call it that. But when you come up with your 1900th idea that takes everybody away from the goal, right, we can say, hold on, how does this fill this company's mission or absolute focus?
Right.
So a mission statement is wildly important.
I used to think those things were so stupid.
Yeah.
And now I realize the strength in them. Not because of her.
Absolutely because of me. But it is really important. And I will just, to give you just a little caveat to that, should never involve anything to do with money or earnings.
Yeah.
Your mission statement should have no one showing up for work unless they get paid.
Yeah.
No one wants
That's
to be
That's a baseline.
Right. That's the bare minimum.
I'm just looking at your...
So that's your owl. And then this one I just thought was... Right. This one I just thought was so much more inviting.
Yeah, it's
so I made it
gray and dark like you. Mine's festive and holiday colors. Anyway.
And old and starting to fall apart. Just like you.
Just like me.
Just like you. Okay, so number 2, Perry. So we've got our mission statement, which is going to bring so much value to the business and clarity.
It's crazy.
In what we're providing.
It's absolutely crazy. When we were doing these things for a while called
Make It Real.
Make It Real, where we did all this in a workshop, a 3-day workshop. And it was very expensive to go. But it was interesting when people would get out of that.
It was too cheap to go.
When people would get out of that, and I would do an exit interview for each one, they all used exactly the same word. What did you get out of this weekend?
Clarity.
We interrupt this pod to bring you this really special announcement. You need to go right now. Well, maybe they want to go right now. Want to stop?
No, at the end. We don't want to have them stop.
Go to trainwreckshow.com. There's lots of bots there, GPT bots that do things for you, that do a lot of your work. So you don't have to work so much and drink more beer. The episode archives are over there. There's all of our resources, worksheets, workbooks. Everything that we've done that we give away is over there. Go get it right now. There's a lot of resources there. Way more resources that you get when you buy a lot of communities, I think.
And don't forget to like and subscribe so that you can catch every episode as soon as it hits. We'll send you a notification.
It doesn't mean you're liking Emma, by the way, because I know that slows us down on our likes. You can just click and say, I like Perry. You don't have to like Emma. It works the same way. So you need that clarity, and all these points go to that clarity statement. So number 2 is, who is our ideal client? And if your idea is, anybody, everybody, my market's everybody needs what I got, horse shit. 99% of the time you're dead wrong. And even if you're right and everybody could use your solution, there's going to be a subsection of that market that's more willing to take action now, more willing to pay a larger price, more willing to ascend levels. Right. There's a certain market. If you look at Dan Kennedy, had one of the best of these I've ever heard in my life. He had a guy that was a client of his that introduced men to Russian brides. That was his thing. And he took all this data.
You've talked about this before. I'm pretty sure that's how you know Dan Kennedy.
Yeah, but he found out that the number one market for that, his best customers that he had been serving all these years, were over-the-road truck drivers. So they took away all the other advertising and they only advertised on over-the-road truck driving radio and truck driving magazines. and they 10x the price.
Of course they did, because they were speaking to one person. When you build an avatar and you tell a story about who you're selling to, it allows you to really hyper focus in on the marketing messages.
Yeah.
Which will sell so much more. You'll sell so much more to a niche than you ever will to the general public.
And you need to know what that avatar's specific dreams are. What do they dream about?
What do they fear?
And what do they fear? And if you understand that about your client base, now you're very much ahead. So you got a mission, you got a client. Third is you got to figure out, these questions progressively get harder. What does that market really value? What's the thing that they're really looking for? What's that truck driver looking for a mail order bride really looking for? What is that person that's trying to figure out how to start a window washing business? What are they really looking for? What's that person that's taking a GLP-1 drug to lose weight? Yeah, they want to lose weight. That's the function. But why do they want to lose weight? Is it a self-esteem issue? Is it a fitness issue?
They want
Is it
to
a health
bag a
issue?
younger partner.
Do they want to? Yeah, do they want to date a better looking partner? Do they want to be more physically active? What's the reason behind it? So number one, you got to have a mission. Number two, you got to have a client that aligns that mission. And three, you've got to really understand the value driver, that big point, that entry point that you can poke a stick at them and hit what I call the soft belly of the market. Yep. Like I'm trying to find where the best part to stab that victim is, so to speak. But you want a soft entry point. If you're in martial arts, you understand that like, I'm not, but I mean,
you clearly.
But there are certain soft targets on people.
The only martial art you're into is Asian women.
I love Asian women. Yeah, I practice the horizontal mambo. That needs to be.
And number 4.
Yeah, feng shui, right?
Feng shui.
Feng shui. It's now. I need to write a book called Feng Shui. That's like the feng shui of
right.
Yeah. Anyway,
fucking your way through Asia.
Right. Huh. This is the hardest of the questions of all. Once you've got the mission, the client, and the value that they want, why? There's 2 questions here, and if you can answer the second one, you fucking home run all the way. But the first question is, why choose you? How are you or your company uniquely qualified to fulfill this value to this client following this mission? What makes you uniquely qualified? The penultimate of that is, what makes us the only solution in the world to provide this particular value to this particular client and this particular mission? And that sounds impossible, but it's really not. If you invent the mission, the client, and understand the value, you can tailor a solution that's so specific to that value that you are the only person that can deliver that particular value that particular time to that particular market. And that's when you have a blue ocean strategy and you can really start taking a waiting list and charging whatever the hell you want to charge for it, right? And that's the big thing, right? Yeah, she gets paid ridiculous amounts of money for her limited skill set, mental acuity, etc.
So I recently went up on his bill, told him his new price, and he went, okay.
Yeah, she did. I'll give her that. She's very good at what she does. I fuck with her a lot, but she's very good at what she does.
Obviously, you've been paying me to do it for many years.
And then the 5th question, and this one's more important than people think, is what's our future? Right? Well, why does that matter? Why do you need to know that? Like, what's the future? What's phase 2? What's phase 3? What's phase 4? Because most people get in a business by stumbling into a business, right? So they had no strategy, foundation, or structure going into the business. They just kind of happenstance found their way into this business somehow. A person that I know bought a business because they went to work at that business and the business was failing, and they ended up selling them the business for $700 and a lease. Right. And now they built it.
Take my problem.
And they built it into a great big business, right? So you never know what gets you, but most people don't have structure. But when you get that last question, what's our future? If you notice companies right now, brilliant companies, Tesla, Apple, they're launching a thing. Hey, in 2 years, we're going to do this. In a year and a half, we're going to be putting out this new product. Who wants to sign up and get on the waiting list for it? When you have the future mapped out, it attracts clients that want to work with progressive companies. Really importantly, it attracts people who want to work for progressive companies. And you've got clients that want to work with you. You've got employees that want to work for you. And you've got investors that want to invest in whatever it is you're doing based on your previous track record and the future of that being what they call in the investor space, blue sky.
Right.
So if you know those 5 things.
I'd like to talk about that for a moment.
Yeah.
Just for a moment. What is our future? So we do it in a very specific way. And everything that you said is absolutely right and brilliant and great for marketing. But let's talk about it also from an operations standpoint.
That doesn't matter.
Right.
If I can sell it, the operations don't matter.
Right. Keeping the money, that's not the thing, as long as I can tell people that I brought the money
Right.
in.
There you go.
Every marketer ever. Anyway, from an operations standpoint, let's talk about that because it brings a lot of freedom. Number one, if you can sit down and think about 10 years in the future, let me close my eyes for a minute. 10 years in the future, what does my business look like? What do my products look like? What do my people look like? What are we serving? What are we selling? What does it all look like? And you can just write a paragraph on that.
Yeah.
There's more steps to that we did with Make It Real, but that one item, if you can go and you can deliver that to your team, they now know how to make decisions. So if I know that I'm writing a book, but the book is part of a 5-book series, the way that I market that book is completely different than the way I put a book out. But if I go to my team and I say, hey guys, we're writing a book and we're putting a book out this year, it's completely different. So it brings so much clarity and strategy to your teams that can now not have to come to you and rely on you for every single thing because they also see the future. So that building that future is wildly important. Actually.
Like for me, a lot of times when I'm doing this, I'm thinking in advance of who am I going to sell this company to.
When we first met, you didn't want to do any of this. Do you remember why?
No, I don't remember.
You'd kind of had enough. You were in a funny place in life.
Yeah.
I flew all the way out to Vegas to do this with you, in a very structured way. Basically, Make It Real in a very structured way. And you said, "Doesn't fucking matter. I'm selling all this shit in the next year."
Yeah.
And here we are.
Yeah. Well, it's if you're going to do this though, like if you are starting a business with the intention of exit, which is a whole different animal,
or if you have a business and it's just the beginning of the year, let's think through things.
How can you reset? How can you do a reset? You can do your own breaking point. All breaking point means is let's break everything we know about this business and rebuild it as if it were a startup today. What would we go back and do differently? And people think, well, I can't do that. You almost always can. You just have to. Just have to break the mold. I love Tiger Woods used to change his swing every few years. He's winning every championship, and all of a sudden he starts losing because he changed his swing. But he changed his swing because he knew what the future of the game had. People were taking lessons from him and copying him, so they were going to know how to play against him. If he changed the swing, when you're at the top of your game, the only person to compete with is you.
Right.
Right? So you have to totally be evolving. So
I love that story. I've never heard that before.
That's a great story. He used to break his swing. He did it 3 different times, and he would lose a whole year.
Amazing.
Getting used to a new swing, and then the next year, he would come out and kill you. And what really happened, a lot of boxers have done this too. Ali did it. A bunch of others did it. They would change their stance. They would change their fighting style. And eventually, they'd have 3 or 4 or 5 ways to fight. You got one. And you never knew which Muhammad Ali you were going to be fighting. You never knew which Tiger Woods you were going to be playing against today. So it was impossible to create a strategy against that competitor.
Amazing.
Yeah, really awesome stuff.
Yeah, this is amazing. Thank you. If you would like to get our template on how to ask yourself these 5 questions, there's a little bit of...
I got a worksheet on it.
Yeah, we got a little bit of instruction on it and how to think through it a little bit more in depth than what we did today. Head over to...
Trainwreckshow.com, right?
Oh my goodness, I can't believe it.
Is it the Trainwreck Show or Trainwreck Show?
Trainwreck Show.
Trainwreckshow.com. And there's a bunch of freebies over there, a bunch of other information.
We've got custom GPTs. We've got all kinds of stuff in there. And it's always free all the time. No one's ever going to try and sell you anything over there. We do this just to rag on each other.
And if you decide you want to get a hold of us or work with us in any way, you can ask somebody over there. I'm sure they can get to you. Is there a way for them even to do that on the site?
No.
We probably should add that. If
we're
in the sales and marketing business. Yeah. All right. Thanks so much for being on Trainwreck today. I appreciate you being here. We'll see you next time on the Trainwreck Show.
See you next time.